What's going on, guys? Climate Data Report here with the Sunday edition of the Climate Update for Sunday, July 16th, 2023. Taking a look at the national satellite picture, you can see several things are going on today. First of all, we have this system in the Northeast which is providing widespread heavy rainfall, flash flooding. There was even a few tornado warnings earlier this morning, and it even prompted the National Weather Service to have to put up a tornado watch in the Northeast. We were not expecting that to happen today, but the system came in a little bit stronger than expected on the severe weather side, and there were some tornado warnings, which ultimately they said, you know what, there is a tornado threat. We need to put a watch up for New England, and they did, because there were several storms that prompted a tornado warning. I assume there's going to be a few tornado surveys, maybe one in Pennsylvania as well, because there are a couple tornado warnings in Pennsylvania this morning. The other picture that you can see here is we have this wildfire smoke. It's back again. It's going from the upper North Plains to the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley. It's possible as this system clears in the Northeast, some of that smoke may come into the Mid-Atlantic region, places like Washington, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. You may have to deal with that tomorrow. It's already knocking on the door of Pittsburgh. Detroit, you're seeing it now. Chicago, St. Louis, unfortunately. And look at this. We do have this system that's evolving underneath it. And sometimes, I've said this before on the channel, when you get wildfire smoke, sometimes it provides more energy into the atmosphere. So you have to watch when these systems do evolve, because sometimes they end up stronger than the models show. Taking a look at the National Hazards Map, let's refresh this because I'm sure it's changed since I've updated it a couple minutes ago. And yeah, look at this. Up in the Northeast, just widespread flood watches and flash flood watches. Tons of flash flood warnings. I suspect there will be more flash flood warnings before the day is done. We have the air quality alerts in the plains. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch up now for portions of Illinois and Missouri. And in the south, whether you be in Miami, New Orleans, Houston, Texas, rest of Texas. I mean, it just continues here. Even out into the west, you're taking a look at California, Arizona, extreme heat. We've been talking about this for several weeks now. There's no signs of it ending, at least in the western half of the country, and at least through about New Orleans, we'll say. Portions of the Mid-Atlantic region, maybe even the Great Lakes, I got some good news for you coming a little bit later on in this update. And as you can see here, it's just a very active picture across the country. Let's take a look at radar. You can see here's the rain that's continuing in the Northeast, and the back edge of it is down here by Washington, Richmond, and Philadelphia. But there's another problem. I do want to show you radar here for a second. Behind this main slug of moisture, look what's happening here. You have these slow-moving showers. You could call them thunderstorms, I guess you could. And they have very heavy rainfall. They're not moving all that fast. So that's why I'm concerned there are going to be more flash flood warnings. And you can see now we do have this system that's evolving across Missouri. With a severe weather threat, there will be a few severe thunderstorms in this. The main threat's going to be wind. We do have another complex of thunderstorms back across Texas, just northeast of Dallas. It's heading into Louisiana. We'll have to watch that. Then the other picture is this air quality issue from the wildfire smoke. Again, I think things are starting to line up where it's going to go into the Mid-Atlantic, maybe the Northeast over the next couple of days. And that trail goes all the way back into Montana. So yes, the wildfire issues, unfortunately, the smoke, it's coming back again. And we're going to be dealing with this time and time again as the fires continue up here in Canada, Alberta, Canada. There's several different fires ongoing up in Canada, British Columbia, and there's reports saying this could continue into much of the summer. Taking a look at a storm prediction center, we do have this slight risk. Again, this is a day one slight risk here. It shows Kansas and Missouri. It's not showing a slight risk for Illinois, and there's a reason why I'm bringing that to your attention, because as just noted, there is now this severe thunderstorm watch. Again, I think wildfire smoke is at play here. Look where the watch is. This is actually kind of funny. The watch actually even goes outside of the marginal risk area. where there's just less than marginal risk, but surprise, you now have a severe thunderstorm watch because severe thunderstorms are starting to unfold. There's a couple reports there. So also a couple severe reports today across New England and one in Pennsylvania. Again, that damage in Pennsylvania is probably going to be investigated by the National Weather Service. Could it have been a weak tornado? It's possible. There were tornado warnings there this morning. And here's the other picture. We do have this moderate risk of flash flooding, which is ongoing, excessive rainfall, which is ongoing in the Northeast. It actually started yesterday. And remember, this is a climate update, so I got to report this to you. 4 people were killed by flash floods in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, in the area of Washington's Crossing. You know, where Washington crossed the Delaware. Yes, that happened yesterday, and there are still some people missing. They called off the search late last night, and the search did resume this morning. I hope they found those 4 people, but I'm fearing the worst at this time. There is also a slight risk of flash floods today across portions of Texas and Louisiana. You saw that complex of thunderstorms that's developing there. And within this other severe complex, which we just mentioned, there's a marginal risk of flash flooding. Who knows? Maybe that ends up worse than expected. We'll have to keep watching it. Taking a look here in the tropics, yes, we have tropical, subtropical depression. Don, it was a tropical system yesterday. And here's the track for you. It's supposed to actually just make a loop here. It's going to continue southeast, then it's going to go south as depression. Then it may become a subtropical storm or a tropical storm again, as it does a circle here. And we've actually seen this happen before. It's not terribly uncommon, but it doesn't happen every season where we see a storm like this. There was one several years ago which comes to mind, Nadine, and I'll have to pull that track up this week, so I'll show it to you, where it actually just did loop-de-loops in the Atlantic, and who knows how long this is going to last, and at any given time, given this is only a subtropical depression, it could just go poof and disappear, or it could redevelop. Who knows? It's one of these systems that does this, and it's something we're going to watch. It's no threat to land at this time, but who knows? If it's out there for multiple weeks, who knows where it's going to end up multiple weeks from now. And here it is. It's not terribly unorganized. It's not a tropical system. It's subtropical, but it's out there, and it's not going away for some time. And you can also see on the satellite picture here, infrared satellite picture, there's that system over Texas. Look at that. And we have another area of thunderstorms just northeast of New Orleans. And if you're in Miami, Florida, or Orlando, Florida, anywhere in Florida today, general showers and thunderstorms, that's going to be your theme for the next several days. Let's take a look at the HRRR model here. Here's the 17Z run. You can see the shower and thunderstorm activity will continue, and it's going to take at least into the overnight hours for places like Portland, Maine, maybe Bangor, Maine, Augusta, Maine. It's going to be there for some time, and it's going to be slow to move out. Maybe even first thing tomorrow morning, you may still have some showers. Then look at Cape Cod. There'll be some lingering shower activity for you tomorrow as well. At Kentucky, you may see a thunderstorm complex tomorrow morning. And keep in mind, the models may underdo this because, again, wildfire smoke. Let's move over to the NAM model, and we'll take a look here. The NAM model does have another round of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow evening for Pennsylvania, but the eastern half of Pennsylvania and New England should, for the most part, be dry. And then later in the week, we'll have to watch this complex that comes out of the plains and into the Midwest. There's a lot of model discrepancy as to where this is going to track. Is it going to go south to the Carolinas and out to sea? Is it going to go south over West Virginia and in Virginia and then clip the Mid-Atlantic or clip the Northeast? Hard to say, because when I change models, so here's the NAM. The NAM has a clipping, but when I go to the Canadian, watch what the Canadian does. The Canadian actually has an area of heavier rain for Philadelphia, just south of New York City as well. So we'll have to watch. If that was to occur, yes, there would be more flooding concerns, maybe a couple of inches of rainfall with that, which is not needed because many places have already seen 2 to 4 inches of rain in the Northeast. And let's just stick with the Canadian for a moment. Look what happens as we get into the late week. Yes, another slow-moving system. The reason why I'm showing the Canadian, because it's something we have to watch. The ground is just super saturated in the Northeast. It's been a very wet summer, and the last thing we need to see is another system. I'm just going to show you the run total. Look at this. Some of this includes today. Yes, more wet conditions in the Northeast. And look at West Virginia, Ohio, like Cincinnati, Indianapolis. Look at this heavy rain here for you. That's not good as well. That could be a flash flood threat as well down the line. And taking a look at the GFS, we're just going to run this into the long range because there is something I want to show you. Watch what the GFS does. Look at this little guy right here. That's a tropical system. As we get into the second half of this month, almost into August, we have to watch. Tropical activity could actually increase. There's some indications. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. And it is bathtub. It is hot tub water down here in the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic, and anyone in the Gulf Coast, even up through the Northeast and the East Coast. You want to be on high guard. You really do not want to let your guard down, because I think we're at a high risk this year for the possibility of a hurricane. It only takes one strong major hurricane to make a season. And like, for example, the Northeast, if a hurricane comes up, now is not the time we want to see a hurricane. The ground is super saturated. Trees would be weak. It's not something we want to see. And with the way the pattern has been, if we see any hurricane, the potential of seeing a hurricane get caught along one of these stalled fronts that we've been dealing with is relatively high, and you would get a lot of moisture ahead of it. So, yeah, flooding would just be catastrophic on the East Coast if we see anything. Way out there, but I just want to bring it to your attention. As we head into August, I think tropical activity is going to increase. Let's take a look at the temperatures. That's the other big story that we've been talking about time and time again. Look in the south. Look at the southwest here. Yes, well into the hundreds. It's going to happen again. Texas could finally get somewhat of a break. Not much of a break. I mean, you're seeing here slightly better, but as we head back into Tuesday, now that's actually really hot again. But some relief will eventually come. Not so much for the south, but right here across the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic, there is some indications that things may get better after this week. Things are going to heat up for the time being. Look at this. Just very hot conditions in the south, but eventually a cold front will come through and maybe slightly better next week. And look at the Great Lakes, only in the 70s. And let's just fast forward now. First off, I want to show you this. Here's that area of heavier rainfall we were talking about across the Ohio Valley, across Illinois, Indiana. We have to be concerned about maybe some flash flooding there. Not too bad in the Northeast. What you're seeing here is mainly most of this rainfall comes from today. There will be some more opportunities as the week goes on. And of course, the wild card is what happens next weekend. If that slow moving system occurs, that upper level system, daily showers and thunderstorms, and below average temperatures, that should occur. All right, take a look at this. The Climate Prediction Center is saying well below average temperatures across portions of the Ohio Valley. I am thinking this is going to happen. But Texas, still above average. Not as bad, but still bad enough that the heat-related illnesses, they will continue. Look at the West Coast here. Well above average temperatures continue. Finally, as we get to 8 to 14 days. Still near normal to maybe that would be adjusted to slightly above average across Pennsylvania through Georgia. But look at Texas. You're seeing above average, but not as bad. Slightly better. And I think as we get into August, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think you're finally going to get a little bit of relief. But stay tuned. We do these updates every day. Stay tuned. We'll have to see how that unfolds, but my early thinking is slightly better as you head into August. And taking a look here on the West Coast, I'm seeing no relief anytime soon for you. Florida, even though you're usually hot in the summertime, it's going to be well above average. Let's take a look at precipitation. Slightly above average in the Northeast. This is 6 to 10 days. So we'll have to see. If that upper level system comes into play, this would probably be up a little higher. Slightly above average in the south, maybe some more precipitation opportunities for Texas, which is good for the northern half of the state. I don't think the southern half is going to see much relief. Slightly below average across portions of the Ohio Valley, and then we come out here to the northwest, well below average, and finally 8 to 14 days, slightly above average in the northeast. In the southeast, we'll have to see. This could get adjusted. And you have below average precipitation in the northwest and slightly above average across portions of California. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's weather update. We'll have another one again tomorrow. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. And if you know anyone that really needs to see this information, maybe they're planning an event, maybe they just like to keep tabs on the weather, tell them about our channel. Share this with them. Tell them that we do climate updates daily. Some days we will include international stuff. Today, obviously, we didn't because there's just so much active weather ongoing in the United States at this time. Alrighty, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you all again next time.